Alright friends, I just came up with this idea and I'm super excited. I am going to make some fishbowl earrings. And how this came along is, you know, ordering from Wish as usual, and they sent me these the tiniest little fish molds. I thought they would be way bigger than this, but they're not, but they're really cute, and I was like, I can use these. They're so adorable. So we're gonna use UV resin, so this can be an instant sort of project. And I'm going to start off by mixing up some colors and making the little fishies and making a mess. So this is actually a plastic mold for resin that I use now as a color palette for UV resin, and it works pretty well. I only have a little bit in this bottle left, but I bought a new bottle of resin. So this is going to take like the teeniest tiny amount. I know there are like black goldfish, but I think I'm going to stick to orange yellow. These look like koi. Fun fact about me, I am a fish hobbyist. I love fish keeping. I just think they are the coolest, and at one point I did want to be a marine biologist, but you know, I think that all kids do. So I haven't tried these with UV resin, so I'm kind of nervous, but we'll see what happens. I'll make a little color palette. I was gonna mess with micas, but I don't think it's worth the explosion of fine glitter dust in the air. I think I'm gonna skip that part and just go with the colorants. The nice thing about UV resin is you can use really tiny amounts, and with regular resin it's really hard to mix up like the tiniest amounts, because the smaller amount of resin you mix up, the more error you get and the more chance that whatever you're making will not cure properly. So I really underestimated the potency of this orange. I need a bigger stick. The thing with UV resin is that you run the risk of not allowing the UV light to penetrate if you use pigments. So the less pigments the better, but I think for these you can get away with a decent amount. I put these in the fins. Put this color in the body. Move this so it doesn't cure the color. We'll zap that. Alright, let's see if these little dudes are ready. Yeah, I think they are. Can you focus for once in your life? Oh, they're so cute. They do not want to leave. The detail on them is really good. Still a little sticky because my UV lamp isn't as strong as I would like it to be. Alright, now for their habitat. I'm going to use one of my favorite earring molds. I use it all the time. And I have little rocks. I have friends who like to collect treasures for me, and I'm really thankful that they think of me when they're out in the wild. Some of these are from the Jersey Shore, I believe, and they're called Jersey quartz. Some of these are tiny fragments left behind from tumbling stones. So these are actually tiny little emeralds that kind of fell off in the tone stumbling? What? Stone tumbling process, and made tiny little stones that are just perfect for this project. So I'm gonna arrange these in a pleasing way, make this a nice little habitat for our friends. Yeah, I think I like that. Now I'm gonna use some lichens for little seaweed decorations. So I'm gonna go for these smaller branches of lichen because I really want the fish to be the star of the show. And maybe I'll go with these little shells. So I'm gonna drop these in. Yes, yes, yes! I have new neighbors, so they're probably like, what is this lady doing? Having fun, that's what I'm doing. And I'm trying to figure out if I should put these in right away or put a little layer down and then put them on top so they look like they're kind of floating. I think I'm gonna add a little layer of resin first. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. Well, I hope I was recording that. Okay, battery low. Well, if that didn't record, what we're doing now is putting in our little fishies, and I just put a layer of resin on the background to stick them down. So now I'm thinking about adding a little bit of blue to the resin of what needs to be the water, but while I do that, let's make some more fishies. So I think I'm using too much resin at once because it's warping, and I assume it's really hot. It was kind of smoking. So next time I'll make smaller layers to try and avoid whatever's happening right now. You live and you learn. Well, we have extra fish to do a second round. Alright, for this time around I have something planned a little bit different. Since we already did the fishbowl, I'm going to do a koi pond. And this is also one of the molds that came with the fishes, and they're like little seashells and sand dollars, but I think these sand dollars can also be lily pads. So I'm gonna go ahead and make some tiny lily pads real quick. I have a few stones in here. I wanted to do like a top-down kind of view. So let's release our friends from their jail. Okay, so we have our fishies. We've got our lily pads. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the lily pads at the top to give it kind of some depth. And the fishies will be swimming on the bottom. So I'm gonna go ahead and place these. All right, I think we're ready for our first layer. Now I'm going to add our second dose. Trying to fill out the edges here. So I've built up a few layers very slowly. I found that even with a heavier hand, I was getting some warping there at the bottom. So you have to go very, very slowly. And now I'm gonna add the lily pads. I'm gonna take a tiny bit, spread it around. Can I just say that this mold is a champ? It is great under amounts of heat, but I do not recommend doing this with UV resin. It's taking forever with not amazing results. I would recommend doing this with, you know, I thought this would be faster. I was wrong, but it's always good to experiment and find things out.
So this is how they turned out. Overall, I'm pretty happy with them. They're really cute. One thing I would have done is use regular resin instead of UV resin, because the UV resin is very finicky when used in large amounts, and I would have cured the tiny resin pieces because they're just a tiny bit fuzziest. I don't know why they went fuzzy in the resin. Overall, super cute, very fun project, and I recommend this for anyone to do with the proper safety equipment, of course. If you found this video entertaining or helpful, go ahead and subscribe and hit those notifications and like the video. That would help me out a lot. And comment which one you prefer. Do you prefer the koi pond or the fishbowl? Thank you so much for watching, and keep creating, and I'll see you in the next video.